So, folks, there is a place called Pennsylvania. It is a state. It has a governor named Josh Shapiro. And Josh Shapiro yesterday was the target of an assassination attempt. And I got to be honest, when I first heard about it, I was like, oh, well, like, okay, what happened? And I learned it was arson. And I was like, oh, okay. So like a guy tried to burn the house down, but like they didn't succeed. Everyone was okay. All right. So like it couldn't be that bad. Right. And photos of it got posted today. And it's this is what happened in the Shapiro residence. That is the governor's mansion. And wow, like we're talking. This was actually quite serious. That sure is what fire does. Yeah, but from like the reporting of it, I did not get the impression that this was, a remotely successful arsonist attempt. I assumed that, they didn't get in, or like they were going with intention, or like they lit a corner of the house on fire, but like it didn't really take, and then they got arrested. Like I didn't know until these pictures came out, like, oh, it's actually really bad. That this is some huge amounts of damage. And this all happened while Josh Shapiro was sleeping on Passover. There were guests in the house. And the man who did this was arrested earlier today. And just a man scaled an iron security fence in the middle of the night, eluded police, and broke into the Pennsylvania governor's mansion, where he set a fire that left significant damage and forced Governor Josh Shapiro, his family, and guests to evacuate the building, authorities said Sunday. The man, captured later in the day, will face charges of attempted murder, terrorism, aggravated arson, and aggravated assault. And Shapiro said he, his wife, their 4 children, 2 dogs, and another family had celebrated the Jewish holiday of Passover at the residence on Saturday and were awakened by state troopers pounding on their doors at about 2 a.m. on Sunday. They fled and firefighters extinguished the fire, officials said. No one was injured. But, like, that is way worse than what was initially reported, which was, like, suspected arsonist attack on the governor's mansion. I did not know that like their entire wing of their house had like burned down, Yeah. Authorities said the suspect hopped over a nearly 7-foot-high iron security fence surrounding the property, eluded officers who became aware of the breach, and forcibly entered the residence before setting it on fire. Balmer had a homemade incendiary device and appeared to have carefully planned the attack. He was inside the residence for about a minute before he escaped. So, like, we're not even talking about like just like a crazy guy doing an arson. We're talking about a guy who built a home burn down device and then had an entry and exit plan. So let's take a look at the briefing here. Keep in mind, this is what I saw yesterday. Just like, oh, there's like some burn damage on the outside, but like, oh, that might not be that bad.
Good afternoon. Last night at approximately 2 o'clock in the morning, while my family and I were asleep upstairs here at the governor's residence, One of the state troopers assigned to our detail banged on our door, woke us up and told us we had an emergency and needed to leave immediately. Together, we secured all of our children, our 2 dogs, our family that was staying with us, and the troopers safely evacuated us from the governor's residence. Last night, we experienced an attack not just on our family, but on the entire Commonwealth of Pennsylvania here at the governor's residence. I want to thank the Pennsylvania State Police for safely evacuating our family, for their bravery last evening, and for their careful leadership of this investigation. I want to thank Harrisburg Fire and their chief, who was personally on the scene and spent time with me and my family last night. He and the other firefighters from Harrisburg ran toward danger to help keep us safe and quickly putting out the fire. I want to thank the Capitol Police for assisting the Pennsylvania State Police last night in ensuring everything was orderly. I want to thank the FBI and our federal partners for their assistance. I spoke a couple hours ago with Director Kash Patel of the FBI. He promised all of the resources of the federal government. He was extremely kind and courteous and thoughtful in his conversation with me. And I thanked him and the women and men of the FBI and the President of the United States for their support. Especially when
I understand that you're expected to say these things, but also fuck those people. Genuinely.
Thank your local district attorney, Fran Chardo. Fran is someone I've known for 20 years in public service, an outstanding leader in law enforcement. You'll hear from him in a few moments. Lori and I are
Why did he fucking compliment Kash Patel? Well, probably because someone tried to murder him literally hours earlier. And not just him, but his entire family.
Imagine having an attack on your residence, getting a warning to evacuate immediately to a safe place because a force has plotted against you for years.
Yeah. Imagine that. But Josh Shapiro is not he's not a great lefty politician by any means. Let's put it that way. He does not care about the people in Gaza who endure constant bombings and murders and slaughterings every single day. That being said, I don't wish what happened to Josh Shapiro on anybody. I don't wish what happens in Gaza on anybody. And I don't know, I can understand, even if people elsewhere in the world have it worse than you, that it would be a pretty sobering and shaking, and it would leave you shaken to have someone break into your home with the intention of murdering you and your family. So I don't know. That's where I'm at.
Lori and I are overwhelmed by the prayers and the messages of support that we've received from all across Pennsylvania and all.
Wait, yeah, like I said, if it hadn't been apparently racially motivated, I would be fully supportive. What?
Across the United States. We've heard from our fellow governors and first spouses. We've heard from several of the former governors of Pennsylvania. We've heard from so many friends and loved ones. And we've heard from so many caring citizens of this great Commonwealth. I want you all to know that your prayers lift us up. And in this moment of darkness, we are choosing to see light. And we appreciate the light that you have shined upon us. Pennsylvania State Police, led by Colonel Christopher Paris, will brief on the specifics of what transpired. But we do know that this attack was targeted. We don't know the person's specific motive yet, but we do know a few truths. First, this type of violence is not okay. This kind of violence is becoming far too common in our society. And I don't give a damn if it's coming from one particular side or the other.
Apparently, after his arrest, Balmer said that he told officers that if he had encountered the governor when he was there, that he would have beat him with a hammer. So that's a thing.
Directed at
Probably said that without a lawyer present. I'm going out on a limb.
one particular party or another, or one particular person or another. It is not okay. And it has to stop. We have to be better than this. And we have a responsibility to all be better. Second, if this individual was trying to deter me from doing my job as your governor, rest assured I will find a way to work even harder than I was just yesterday for the good people of Pennsylvania. Here's a third truth. If he was trying to terrorize our family, our friends, the Jewish community who joined us for a Passover Seder in that room last night, hear me on this. We celebrated our faith last night proudly, and in a few hours we will celebrate our second Seder of Passover again proudly. No one will deter me or my family or any Pennsylvanian from celebrating their faith openly and proudly. I am grateful to the good people of Pennsylvania for giving me the honor to serve as their 48th governor. I will continue to pour every ounce of my being into this work. I'm going to do my best to be your governor, and right now to be a good husband and father to my family, who are obviously traumatized by what occurred here last night. We are grateful to law enforcement for helping ease some of that trauma thanks to their outstanding work. They were here within seconds, and they did an extraordinary job. Local, state, and federal law enforcement partners. I now want to bring up the Colonel of the Pennsylvania State Police to give you some specifics on the investigation, followed by our District Attorney, Fran Chardo, and then we'll do our best to take a few questions.
Thank you, Governor. I'd like to begin by saying, on behalf of not only the Pennsylvania State Police, but all of our partners, federal to municipal, that our hearts and prayers are with you and your family during this very trying 14 plus hours. I'd like to start off by preemptively offering that this is still very early in a very active and dynamic investigation. And I can tell you that we're pursuing any and all leads. We have processed the crime scene and released it just recently. You will see imminently how large and complex of a scene that it is. Physical evidence has been gathered and is in the process of being forensically analyzed, both at the State Police Crime Laboratories and also the Cumberland County Crime Laboratory, and I'd like to mention them specifically. As the governor stated, the work done by Harrisburg Fire Department was absolutely instrumental in preventing any loss of life last evening.
Now, I will say, just from what I'm seeing, like reading about this seems like, from everything that is available right now, like this guy just seems like kind of a nut job. Like, I don't think he has like a coherent view of that stuff, you know? Like, this guy seems like he was just generally odious, and also, according to folks looking into his online history, like, was mainly just anti-government of all kinds, like both anti-Biden, anti-Trump, you know, just like not really ideologically consistent. He's talked about previously being on like medications for mental illness, but now he's not on them. So like I would argue that this is probably like a hate crime, but also like it's not necessarily like a politically motivated hate crime. Does that make sense?
To acknowledge again the Harrisburg police and the major case team that the state police was able to put together. So to pause for a moment, that was comprised of and remains comprised of the Harrisburg Police Department, the Capitol Police, our partners from the FBI. I received multiple calls from the FBI SAC of Philadelphia, who happens to be out of country, and yet he took the time to call, as well as his assistant special agents in charge, who are not only here with us, but we've spoken to throughout this incident. I received a call personally from the Attorney General with an offer of any and all support. Received a call personally from the U.S. Attorney acting for the Middle District of Pennsylvania, John Greganis, offering any and all support of the U.S. Attorney's Office. And as the governor said, who you will hear from shortly, the Dauphin County District Attorney, Fran Chardo. So I can confirm at this point, as we put out already, we are conducting an arson investigation, and we are conducting an attempted homicide and aggravated arson investigation. That is the paradigm that we've operated in. A lot of the investigative tasks.
Yeah, guys, I know we're talking about like some pretty touchy issues, but please understand, like, you cannot post anything that might be like construed as calls to violence, because like I have to police that in chat, otherwise it affects me. Your words also affect me, like materially, so please mind your tongues.
Tasks have focused on the who up until this point. Obviously, we're trying to piece together very early on the exact sequence of events. We were late in coming out here because we were getting rapid information as it was occurring, and I'm pleased to announce that we do have an individual in custody. His name is Cody Balmer, Balmer, age 38, with a Harrisburg Post Office address. In terms of the sequence of events, because of the thrust of the investigation concentrating on the who, I want to be very deliberate in my comments as to the how and exactly the time frame. What I do feel confident in saying at this point is that we don't anticipate any charges for conspiracy, but again, I'd reiterate my qualifier that I mentioned earlier, that we are still very much inside the first 24 hours. But at this point, we do not anticipate that. Likewise, the quick action of the members of the governor's detail.
Yeah, I gotta say, good work. Like, it's good that the police officers assigned to guard him weren't just like asleep on the job. Actually woke up, actually did something, actually got everyone out okay.
Not only his immediate family, but some extended family members who were here. You will see from the physical plant behind me how grave the situation was. And when this occurred, I will tell you, again, the exact sequence of events. We will conduct a full review, but I feel very confident in telling you that it occurred over an extremely brief period of time.
If only Sam could be at every Passover Seder. Forget Elijah, leave a seat for Sam. He'd change so many minds. Or at least produce so many. How did I end up here?
Oh God! Did I not add the Sam Cedar materializing into every single Passover all at once?
That was some weird shit.
Several minutes, and the quick action of those troopers last night immediately shifted to the safety of the governor and his family and his extended family. So we will certainly take a look and have a full, competent, and thorough investigation, but our hats are off to the quick action of all the first responders, not just within the state police, but as the governor said, Harrisburg Fire Department, who was instrumental in getting here quickly and getting the fire knocked down.
Also, thank God, like Josh Shapiro wasn't just like chilling downstairs at like 2 a.m. Like I'm a night owl. I'm literally awake at 2 a.m. like most nights. Like that guy broke into the house with a hammer and said, if I had encountered Josh Shapiro, I would have beaten him to death with a hammer. Like, damn.
We have kept tabs on the governor all day and will continue to do so. And at this point, I'd like to turn it over to District Attorney Fran Chardo. Thank you.
We have, as the Colonel indicated, Cody Balmer is in custody. We are preparing a criminal complaint to charge him. This is not a record yet, but the charges will include attempted murder, terrorism, aggravated arson, and aggravated assault against an enumerated person. These are all very serious charges, as with any charges.
Yeah, look, can I just say, like, I understand the desire to be more proactive in your advocacy against the current administration. I get that. I also just want to instill in people who are trying to argue about the virtue of Fed posting that don't do it. Like, if you want to organize in spicier ways, go do it elsewhere in a place that is not a public forum. You absolute dipshit. Do you understand? Like, holy shit. Like, I don't understand the impulse some of you have to just like want to go out into the public square and go, I'm planning to do a violence. Like, what is wrong with you? That would not fly anywhere, and you're doing it in a place that can be scoured by an AI search bot that is going to disambiguate it from context. And just like, holy shit. Like, no one should work with you if your brain is unable to handle that. No one should organize with you until you are able to be a goddamn adult. Like, you would be more effective if you just went to the police station and said, arrest me. I was thinking about doing crimes. Like, come on. Like, I get the mental space you are in. But for fuck's sake, use some of your brain power. Hello, is this the police station? One crime, please. It's really no different than criminals who do a crime and post evidence on social media. It's honestly some of the dumbest shit you can do. So, like, I don't know. Like, if like that's the path you are bent on, like, I have no power over you. And I would say don't do that. But, like, if you're gonna, like, come into my chat and be like, well, I'm gonna Fed post even harder somewhere else, like, you're just, why not just get a blaring neon sign to follow you everywhere that has an arrow pointed to you that says criminal? That would at least be kind of cool. You know? I don't understand the impulse here to like bad decision post. Don't like, holy fuck. Especially on like a story like this, where a governor was almost assassinated. Jesus Christ. Bad decision post is basically the story of a Blue Sky account. Yeah. I don't get it. Like, selfishly, I don't want to get banned, but like, I especially don't want to get banned over people who are half-assing their advocacy and like trying to virtue signal so hard that they get sent to prison. Like I don't get that. For fuck's sake.
The defendant is presumed innocent. We will file those charges within the next several hours, and we will include a probable cause affidavit which will detail the basis for this arrest. I can't give you a lot of details because it won't be of record. I can only give you the charges, but the criminal complaint and the affidavit will detail that further this very day. I want to commend the Pennsylvania State Police, the Capitol Police, and the Federal Bureau of Investigation, and the other agencies that conducted this investigation. I was here this afternoon and witnessed the remarkable efforts. They did a great job in bringing this to a swift conclusion. And I'll tell you that they do this in every case that I work with them on, not just cases involving the governor. In every case, we are blessed to have great law enforcement agencies that work diligently in cases involving serious violence.
I don't feel like we need to watch the entire thing. Let's just jump to where Josh Shapiro gets back.
Especially in the light motivation, whatever it was that happened here. Do you think it's important to show not just Pennsylvania, but the whole country you're not going to be fearful?
I'm not fearful. I'm obviously emotional. I'm worried about my family. I want my kids to be okay. When we were in the state dining room last night, gathered with the community and family and friends, we told the story of Passover, and it's a story of going from bondage, from slavery, into freedom. I think it's an important story, both literally and figuratively, to tell. And I refuse to be trapped by the bondage that someone attempts to put on me by attacking us as they did here last night. I refuse to let anyone who had evil intentions like that stop me from doing the work that I love, stop me from being a leader of this Commonwealth and looking out for all Pennsylvanians. I will not be deterred in my work, and I will not be afraid to do that work.
Governor, who all was in the House at the time? And
all right, I don't feel like we need to get questions. I feel like I've already summarized enough of this. But yeah, we're in a time where people are being galvanized into trying to do, take the law into their own hands, act on hateful impulses. It's dangerous out there. It is a dangerous time. Our best bet is by banding together non-violently to create the kind of change we want to see. We don't want to organize some kind of armed resistance movement and get like a left-wing dictator. That would not be great either. Authoritarianism, turns out it's bad. So let's just not do that. Let's actually just pursue like a more constructive course of action. I like bondage with sexy intentions. God damn it. Also, just keep in mind, folks, if you are in like a public forum and you see people talking openly on the internet about, banding together to do violence, you should avoid those people. They are not safe for you to be around or for anyone else. There is no responsibility there. There is no awareness there. It puts you at risk. It puts your loved ones at risk. And you need to be smarter than that. You need to be better than that. Peaceful solidarity of the working class is a better strat. Yeah, we literally went over a lecture by Erica Chenoweth about the overwhelming level of success nonviolence has over violent revolution. So if you want a truly better world, the best way to go about getting that is via nonviolence. There are circumstances that are very extreme under which violence is the only recourse. We are not nearly close to that yet in America. And sometimes those people are actual feds. Very good analysis, Scared Crow. We have a massive amount of energy we can harness if we do not resort to violence. Yeah, all those liberal wine moms, they're becoming socialist wine moms. Okay? I'm not a fed, you're a fed. No, you're a fed. You're such a fed. Yeah, also committing to nonviolent resistance doesn't mean giving up self-defense. You know, like there are going to be brown shirts. There are already brown shirts. So keep yourself safe. Keep you and yours safe. Some people act like we didn't get information about COINTELPRO from the Vietnam era, right? Okay.
Riverboat Jack is going to town. All the viewers gather round. Twitch and YouTube is where she streams. All that content is bursting the seams. Politics, gaming, and plenty more. Her sense of fashion you'll adore. So grab your stuff and hop aboard. We're going straight to Jack's Discord.